Have you ever tried to fall asleep, but your mind just keeps going? You replay a conversation from 3 years ago. You rehearse what you'll say tomorrow. You worry about something that might never happen. And the harder you try to stop thinking, the louder the thoughts become. You're not broken. You're not anxious. You're just human. But why? Why does the brain never stop? Why can't it just be quiet? The answer goes deeper than you might think. In the 1990s, neuroscientists made a surprising discovery. When people weren't doing anything, their brains were still incredibly active. They expected the brain to rest during downtime. Instead, a specific network lit up, a collection of brain regions that became more active when people were doing nothing in particular. They called it the default mode network. Think of it as your brain's background program, the process that runs even when you're not consciously directing your thoughts. It's responsible for daydreaming, planning, remembering the past, imagining the future, and thinking about other people. And it never fully shuts down. Even when you sleep, parts of this network stay active. Your brain processes memories, rehearses social scenarios, and prepares you for tomorrow. Your brain is not designed to stop. It's designed to keep going. To understand why, we need to go back. Way back. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, our ancestors lived in a world of real danger. Predators, hostile tribes, unpredictable weather, scarce food. The human brains that survived were not the calm ones. They were the ones that kept thinking. Keep asking what if. Keep scanning for threats. Keep replaying social situations to learn from them. The brain that never rested was the brain that kept its owner alive. This constant mental activity wasn't a problem. It was a feature. But here's the thing. Your brain is still running that same ancient software. The same threat detection system that helped your ancestors survive is now running in a world of office emails, social media, and traffic jams. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a lion approaching your camp and a difficult email from your boss. To your nervous system, stress is stress. Threat is threat. And so it thinks, and thinks, and thinks. Scientists estimate the average person has somewhere between 6,000 and 80,000 thoughts per day. Let that sink in. Even at the lower estimate, 6,000 thoughts, that's one thought every 10 seconds while you're awake. And here's something even more important. Most of those thoughts are repetitive. Research suggests up to 90% of your daily thoughts are the same thoughts you had yesterday. Your brain is running on a loop, and it gets deeper than that. Studies on what's called negativity bias show that your brain naturally gives more weight to negative experiences than positive ones. One criticism stings more than 10 compliments. One failure echoes louder than 10 successes. This isn't a flaw, it's ancient design. The brain that remembered dangers more vividly than pleasures, that brain survived. But today, it means your mind can become its own worst enemy. Not all thinking is the same. There's productive thinking, planning, problem-solving, creating. This kind of thinking builds your life. Then there's what psychologists call rumination, repetitive circular thinking that goes nowhere. You replay the same worry, the same regret, the same fear. Rumination doesn't solve problems, it just consumes energy. Research shows that people who ruminate more have higher rates of anxiety, depression, and poor sleep. The brain becomes trapped in its own thought loops, unable to find an exit. And the tragic irony? The more you try to stop a thought, the stronger it becomes. This is called the ironic process theory, or the white bear effect. Tell yourself not to think about a white bear, and suddenly The white bear is all you can think about. Fighting your thoughts doesn't work. It never has. So what do? You can't stop your brain from thinking. That's not the goal. The goal is to change your relationship with your thoughts. The first step is simply understanding that thoughts are not facts. A thought is just a pattern of electrical signals in your brain. It has no power unless you give it power. When a difficult thought arises, instead of fighting it or believing it completely, just notice it. Oh, there's that thought again. I see you. This is the foundation of what mindfulness researchers call diffusion, creating a small but powerful space between you and your thoughts. The second step is giving your brain a different task. Your default mode network becomes most active when you're not focused on anything specific. When you have a clear purpose, a creative project, a physical activity, a conversation with someone you love, that network quiets down. Not completely, but enough. The third step is understanding that some thoughts deserve your attention. Not all mental chatter is useless. Sometimes your brain is trying to tell you something important, a problem that needs solving, a feeling that needs processing, a decision that needs to be made. The skill is learning to tell the difference. Your brain never stops thinking, because it was never meant to. It is one of the most extraordinary systems in the known universe. 3 pounds of tissue that can imagine the future, feel empathy, create music, and ask questions about its own existence. The fact that it never rests is not a bug, it is a feature. But you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that notices them. And the moment you understand that, truly understand it, something shifts. The thoughts don't stop, but they lose their grip. And in that space between you and your thoughts, you find something unexpected. Quiet. Not silence, but something better. Peace.